Hello, everybody. It has been some time since I've uploaded a public video to this YouTube channel. And, well, I feel sort of called out a little bit because it is now October and spooky time. And the World of Darkness folks have a big promotion going on where it's like, hey, check out all of this stuff. They have a bunch of fan creation and things like that going on. That's like, oh, October is Vamptober, I believe they're calling it. And I had been kicking around the idea of uploading our actual play to my YouTube channel because there's really no reason to not. It's another avenue of getting it out there to people, and there's already a subscriber base. Granted, most of you are probably here for keeping notes of some of the Shadowrun stuff I did, or bots, or who knows what else. Thank you, by the way. It's crazy to have a bunch of people still subscribe to the channel even after I don't know, like 3 years of not uploading content. But that begins to change today. After this, at some time, whenever YouTube has finished processing it, the first episode of our Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition actual play will come live on this YouTube channel. I don't have anything fancy. We don't use cameras or anything, so it's just going to be the logo on the background, and you guys are more than welcome to listen to this while playing a game, doom scrolling on another tab, really whatever you want to do. My intention is to have one of the episodes released every day because we're about to release episode 30 and 31, so that this way it'll take us all the way through October. And then I intend to keep up with it from here out to some degree. I might choose to have it drop a week behind of the podcast release because that's still kind of the main thing. While that may still be the main thing, there's no reason to not also take advantage of this alternative source of content. We've been doing the podcast on various podcatcher platforms for like 4 years now, which is crazy. There is a 80-some episode Shadowrun game that we did. It was our first game there, so really learning a lot about this whole podcast situation and how things work. And then we did a 53 episode Call of Cthulhu game, which was a lot of fun. That was GM'd by one of the players from Shadowrun. And then we moved into Vampire with an Asterisk. For Halloween, the Alien RPG has been our go-to for a little while now. And we ran Chariot of the Gods and Destroyer of Worlds for Halloween over the past 2 years. This year we have a new Alien game that Oz, who plays Art in the Vampire game, is running, who ran the previous 2 years as well. Real excited to see where that goes and the fun that will be had there. In the description, I'm going to put a link to like our Podbean channel, our Discord that you guys can come and hang out on, the website, a few other odds and ends that'll be like, hey, if you want to check out the show that we've been working on, in addition to just watching the stuff here on YouTube, please check it out. All of the stuff is there. The Shadowrun, the Call of Cthulhu, and the Alien stuff is all still hanging out on the feed. Even the little one-off Christmas game of a Lasers and Feelings hack is on there. There's, in addition to the actual play content on there is also Out of Character, which is a show that talks about tabletop gaming stuff. I'm sure, as you know, a lot of people do these kinds of things, these YouTube channels and podcasts talking about this stuff. This is done by the Jupiter Sanders, who is the GM of our Call of Cthulhu game that we did, and a player and everything else so far. And then on the second season of Out of Character, she has got a co-host by the name of Cotton, who was also in the first Shadowrun game and will be showing up in some of the Halloween stuff coming down the line. If you want to support the show, well, I personally don't like ads. I use ad blockers when I can. I don't like having to stop what I'm doing, watching a video to click the skip ads button on my phone, or when I'm at work and I got it in my pocket, listen to something like, oh shit, I got to pull it out and mess with it. So I'm not going to have any ads on this. I don't have any ads or sponsorships on the podcast feed because I get annoyed by it. I hate listening to other shows and then it's like, oh, you're in the middle of the show and an ad comes on for some overpriced dice or something. So I find myself quickly dropping those shows. Years ago when we started the actual podcast, it was with the intention that I am going to make the podcast that I would listen to, which means that we're going to not interrupt things with ads and sponsorships, which means that a lot of the side tangent talk, gone. Gonna edit that out in post or try to stay focused and limit it in the actual show. Gonna do some cool things where I try to get community members involved. There's some community involvement with Vampire. There was some with Shadowrun. There was some with Call of Cthulhu. And there will continue to be some as we find interesting places for them. That being said, Patreon is the main way that the show is supported. For $1, lowest tier, you get access to all of the raw recordings that we do for the show. Put them out a week before the actual episode, and then the edited version comes out a week later. There is also currently a Fate game that'll be wrapping up soon. A shorter campaign that is run by one of our players. I think we're starting to call it the B Reel, the off-main game recordings. That is only up on the Patreon. That is there at $1, just with everything else. There are some campaign diaries that I've been doing for Vampire that I talk about some of the behind-the-scenes stuff. All of our Session Zero things or stuff along that line that we do goes up on the Patreon. There are some additional levels on the Patreon that you can check out that do things for like birthday cards and Christmas cards, that kind of thing. Options. Any support is appreciated. You will not hear me interrupt or like even say before videos and recordings that, hey, check us out on Patreon, because that annoys me. I'll put it at the end because you kind of have to in this business, right? Patreon takes care of everything we need. It takes care of our hosting fees. It takes care of our website fees. It takes care of buying books. It takes care of getting art done. It takes care of buying equipment like external hard drives to back things up with and other incidentals and ideas that come up. And the more that the Patreon is successful, the more crazy stuff we can do. I look forward to come up with more crazy stuff in the near future. But I think that's all that I have for this little, hey, the channel is waking up out of torpor to kind of say. I don't really have a good exit strategy now that I've gone and recorded this. So thank you all for staying subscribed for the time. I hope that the content that you have found here has been useful and helpful in your own games, or even just entertaining. And I look forward to people listening to more of the content we've made in a different venue. YouTube's... I'm getting off on a tangent. Thank you guys.